to my channel. So today we're doing an Insecure season 4 finale review. So Insecure season 4 finale. ISSA, Princess Penny, like I just want to talk. I want to open this up with the very, very obvious conversation of like Team ISSA versus Team Lawrence versus Team Condola Virus. I want to talk out the different perspectives and then we'll jump into everything else because for me I feel like that's the main overview. So let's start with Condola because she is the catalyst that starts everything. She's the catalyst to just fuck shit up. Like, let's be real. When I went into the finale, I didn't think ISSA and Lawrence were gonna stay together. I still don't think ISSA and Lawrence are gonna stay together, especially now after this. I think they might try a thing. I don't think it's gonna be successful even if they do. That's just me. But personally, I don't think that we went through all of this for 4 seasons for them to end up together. You know what I mean? So anyways, Condola. Condola enters, nobody asked for her, nobody sent for her, but yet here she is. She shows up at Lawrence's place and decides to talk and tell him that she's pregnant, regardless of how careful they've been, she's somehow pregnant, and even though they're not together, she wants to keep the baby. Why? Girl, like, I understand that you might not have been ready for certain things before, wrong person, wrong time, but do you know how selfish of a person you have to be to have a baby by somebody you're no longer with? And I say that because now Lawrence, even if he doesn't want to be with Condola, even if he doesn't want to be a dad, is a dad. Like, how can you not even like that should be the first thought in your mind, regardless of if you're like, damn, I would really want to have a baby, then build one in a relationship of love and have that creation happen. Because now you have to think about this kid. He's gonna grow up in a life where either she's a single mom or the baby's just seeing them separate. Like, you have to think about the fact that this is such a selfish choice, Condola. Like, I can't wrap my head around it because to me, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm just like, girl, you want to make this guy a dad who's clearly no longer with you, and you want to have this baby grow up with either separate parents or you as a single mother. This girl said, either way, I'm good. I was like, no, you're not good. You need to, what's not clicking, Condola?
What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
Like, what is it? Because I'm not Team Condola at all. I liked her when they were dating, but then they broke up and I was like, okay, that's fine. But now I'm like, she's a villain. Now, Team Lawrence, let's have a chat. Essentially, I just want to talk to you about the fact that at the end of the day, as much as none of this is Lawrence's fault, it is. I recently had to rewatch season 1 because my sister-in-law is just getting into it. So if you think about it, he broke up with ISSA. He left. So realistically, if you think about everything that's happening right now, it's his fault. Because had he never broken up with ISSA, they would never have gone through any of this stuff. He'd never have been fucking around with Condola, and this would not be happening. So like, indirectly, it is your fault. I feel for him, obviously, because he doesn't want to be a dad. Like, it's very clear in his visceral reaction to when she breaks the news. He was like, fuck, like, I don't want to do this shit. Is it mine? Like, he's deflecting, and rightfully so, because he's in a new relationship with his ex and everything is actually going good for them, and this shit just comes and just decides to fuck shit up. But can you imagine being like, you have no control over the situation, like there's nothing that you can do, you have no decision? That's insane. I don't know if they talked about protection. He just said we were careful. So that means that even if they were using condoms, they probably weren't using them all the time. He was probably pulling out and thinking that that shit was the best method. Bro, no. So like, that's what I'm saying. It's still partially his fault. Like, why would you do that to yourself, bro? Especially after you just had the clap at the beginning of the season. Was it the clap? Chlamydia? It was something. He had something. I'm sure he slipped up. Like, if it had, like, I'm blaming Lawrence. Like, at the end of the day, he's villain number 2. And that's all I'm gonna say about that, because I feel like that's just what it is. I love Lawrence as a guy. I felt for him in season 1. I did believe ISSA really did fuck shit up, but I really wanted him to get over his ego and be like, okay, she's not someone who normally does this kind of stuff. Just let it go. And he did it. But then we wouldn't be here otherwise. So, you know, and lastly, Team ISSA. Girl, I'm on your side. So Condola's already made up her mind. Lawrence doesn't have a choice. The question is, if you're ISSA, are you staying with Lawrence? You have Nathan, who is your ex, who's clearly still feeling you, and I'm so team Nathan. Like, Nathan is still in the picture now as her friend. And if you're ISSA and you found out that you're the person you're in a relationship right now, ex or not, the person that you're in a relationship right now is having a baby by his ex, why would you stay? And I get it, her and Lawrence have history, and I get it that could be like a relationship that makes you really happy. That could be her soulmate, and we see that with her and Lawrence, that they just have jokes, they have things that just make them like, they mesh so well. But at the end of the day, the minute you have to become a stepmother, things are no longer the same. And again, a stepmother, not by choice. Like, if the child is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 20, if it's a grown child, it's a different situation because you are not at the beginning stages of that, of him having to, like, if Condola needs something, drop everything. She's having a baby. I need to go get this, or I need to start spending money on my baby or my baby mother. Like, ISSA's gonna be at the beginning of this. Like, do you know how hard it is gonna be for her to stand by and just sit there and just like have no opinion on something that he has to do with this ex? Like, she can't say anything, she can't do anything, she just has to basically be there, sit there and nod her head. You think that's ISSA, Miss ECD? It's not. So to me, I'll be like, no, I'm not dealing with this because I can already see how it's going to be problematic. I'm not saying she shouldn't try. I'm just saying I don't think that she'll be able to stay. I don't think she should stay. I think if it becomes too much, you have to know what's worth your energy, protect your energy, all types of stuff. And Miss Condola was very, very distraught when her and Lawrence broke up. So you know Condola is bitter about something. So to me, I'd see her 100% as the villain. So if I'm ISSA, I'm like, yo, she doesn't fuck with me. And now she's having her baby. That is not a coincidence. And like, to me, like, that would just be like all I can like think about. So I'm team ISSA. I don't think she should stay. I think she should cut ties while she can. Plus Lawrence is technically probably moving to San Fran. So it's like, you won't even have to deal with any of it. This is the perfect chance to just not even have to get involved in the baby drama, like not even get involved in any of that. Tell him to basically like, do you boo. And then once all that's settled, I'll possibly be here. But to be there for the ride, I don't know. Like, it wouldn't be me. It would not be me. ISSA and Molly's relationship.
It's so toxic.
Okay, and again, I just recently watched season 1. I forgot that ISSA and Molly fight all the time. Like, they fight like once a season. And then on top of it, there's always like slights and jabs for each other. And at the core of it, they both rely on each other so much because that person's always been there. That doesn't mean that that person always needs to be there. That doesn't mean that that's the person that you should turn to. And I get that you're comfortable. And I get that in like ISSA's friend group case, like Tiffany and Kelly are closer and her and Molly are closer. So I understand that it may not be easy to like dive into Tiffany and Kelly, but like you might just need to take a step back from Molly. And Molly, I don't like at all. As a character is so, like, she's so problematic. And I keep saying problematic, but like, let me just divulge a little bit more. Her head is so far up her own ass when it comes to when she was at her old firm, now that she's at her new firm, when she was dating guys, like, she was crazy. Like, and I mean that, and I hate saying that about women, like, because you don't want to be crazy, and you especially don't want to be the crazy black woman. I'm just saying, like, Molly girl, when you were in the beginning and you were dating all these different guys, you only want things, and this includes her relationship with ISSA. She only wants things on her terms. When she was at the white firm, she only wanted things on her terms. And I'm not saying she was wrong for that, I'm just saying that's what the fact is. When she's at the black firm, she only wants things on her terms. She is to her core a selfish character, a selfish individual. And when it came to the ISSA and Andrew fight situation thing that happened at the block party, I couldn't wrap my head around it, because I'm like, at the end of the day, if that's supposed to be your friend, regardless if the energy's off, regardless, if that's supposed to be your friend and your friend asks you to do you a favor and you say, listen, I don't want to personally take that on because our relationship is new and it's really important to me, and ISSA says she respects that. You never said don't ask him, you never said he's off limits, don't talk to him, and regardless, that's your friend, so you should want what's best for her. But you don't, because you are like implicitly selfish. Like you don't know how to think about things beyond you, because Issa's throwing a whole ass event and needs a headliner. You are clearly not available to help. Your man is, and even if you don't want to ask him, if I was Molly, I'd be like, yeah, but like you and Nathan are cool, right? Maybe ask Nathan to hook you up. Like why was she so offended about it? Because she's problematic. Like to me, I was like, Molly, what is the issue here? What exactly is the problem? I know they're coming back together at the end of this episode. I hope this is just more of a chat and like we'll keep each other at distance. I hope they're not just like BFFs again, self-care Sundays. Like I hope that that's not the case, because I think both of them need to understand that that's not necessarily how friendships work. Like, yes, that person's always should be there for you. Yes, that person's ride or die, but you both need to, unless you both can come to an understanding and a way of dealing with each other that is not offensive, is not like you both kind of jab, Molly's the worst, but you both kind of jabbed each other. If you guys can't clear all that stuff up and clean up the relationship, I don't think it should exist at all. I think it needs to go. Because like you guys are both on different paths, as much as your energies and personalities are somewhat similar and you vibe and gel really well, there is a dark side, and hopefully that conversation that they're having at the end of season 4 is them basically discussing that as well. It's not just them both talking about their shit. They both need to unearth what is the issue with each other and how they can move forward as actual friends being friendly with each other. Unless you guys are gonna actually heal, you know, actually self-care Sunday, actually discuss what's going on, then don't do it. Leave it alone. Throw it away. And then, okay, like we're talking about just Molly generally. Molly and her relationships, I kind of touched on that before. We see what Molly basically could have had at the end of season 3 when that guy shows up again at the movie theater and he has a girlfriend. I don't know why Molly was so weirded out about him having like one gay experience, but you see what you get when you're only in your head and you don't think about other people. Nothing. You get nothing. Andrew, Asian bae, sent from the gods, so patient with her. Like, I was just like, are you kidding me? First of all, this guy's got a job, and not just any job, a career, a profession, everything you wanted. You, my girl, you test this man. This guy basically is at your beck and call. Anything you want to do, anywhere you want to go, he is there. How many things, aside from their trip, did they do that were Andrew's things? Nothing. When Andrew wanted to do something, he can. In that instance where they stayed out all day because of you, the least you can do is cuddle up on the couch with the man, and like if you fall asleep, you fall asleep. You know what I mean? Like, Molly doesn't know how to compromise, and this is the same thing with her relationships with ISSA. She doesn't know how to meet people halfway, and that's why she doesn't have anything. She just does everything that she wants to do and says, yo, if you're either gonna be with me or without me. And people are gonna choose to be without you, girl, like what the hell? You're gonna be alone. I hope you understand that. Molly and her relationships, the reason why she don't have any is because she applies pressure. It's basically like, you better do this. You're gonna do this, or it's not gonna happen anymore. And it's like, Molly girl, you realize people are just gonna leave. Because people are people, they are not things, they are not pawns, they are not objects. They have emotions and feelings too. Molly thinks she's the only person on this planet that feels. That's her issue. Oh, someone said, will we miss Andrew? Yes. Yes, we will miss Andrew. I'm team Andrew. I love him, and I'm really sad that he had to deal with Molly. Like, I'm really, really sad that this is something that, you know, he had to go through when he tried. I want to bring out, if we're gonna talk about Andrew really, really quickly, because I have to go to work. The whole conversation about race with Andrew's brother, Molly kind of ran away. And I think that is problematic, but I understand. And this goes back to me saying like Molly does things on her time, on her terms. You know how important or how critical that conversation could have been to have with Andrew's brother? That could have been a really good educational moment. Instead, what Molly chose to do is get angry and just kind of like, I'm not dealing with this. And that's fair, because I understand protecting your energy, and I understand not wanting to have to talk to people about race every 5 seconds of the day. The fact of the matter remains that you have a relationship with this person. And it's not like this is just some weird white person or some weird other person at a bar. This is someone that you're going to be in, or you wanted to be in direct relation with. So you know how important it would have been to set the record straight? At least try. Like, just have the first couple words and be like, listen, if we're gonna have this conversation, it's gonna be educational and it's gonna be informative. This is not a joke to me, this is my life. What I just experienced is XYZ. That woman who was at the towel bar was clearly very, discriminatory toward me when the person before me didn't need to show their wristband or whatever. So to me, yes, I do feel it was about race. Before you got there, you know what I mean? Like, she could have just explained herself well, rather than just get mad and prove his point. Because his point was, you were kind of upset and that's why she was being defensive. He didn't see everything. So girl, break it down for him. And let's talk about Tiffany. A lot of people are saying that it's odd that Tiffany's postpartum storyline took up so much of the finale. But to me, it's not. If we recall last season at Coachella, Tiffany already felt odd. And I think that's important to know, is that even when you're carrying, postpartum kind of can start there. It doesn't necessarily happen as soon as the baby is gone from you. Sometimes women, when they're carrying, they have a lot of stuff that's going on and they can't necessarily acknowledge what it is. And they will pin it to something like FOMO and being like, it's just kind of like fear of missing out, I'm pregnant now. So like, you know what I mean? I can't necessarily do what you guys want to do. And she talks about that when they were at Coachella. And then we kind of see Tiffany like slip every time. We have Kelly folding baby clothes by herself. We have Kelly taking care of the baby sometimes. We have Tiffany's man taking care of the baby a lot of the times. We have Tiffany wanting to stay out and party and not really care or associate with what's happening with the baby. Like, we've been seeing it. So I don't think it is odd that it took up the finale, because especially if they're planning on writing out Tiffany and having her gone for the next season, I think that this is a good way to kind of like cut off her storyline. She's taking care of herself now. I do like that they showed it, because especially when you're in your 20s and a lot of people don't even really acknowledge that postpartum is a thing. We just think that having a baby is supposed to be such a happy time. You're supposed to be so in love with your kid. But there are some people that just, one, don't connect with having a child like that, and two, can't control the fact that they're going through postpartum depression. And I think that if we are all absorbing insecure as much as we are, I think it's really important, and I'm really happy that they actually put that in there, because we absorb this show like a sponge. Like, we can recite scenes, we remember things so vividly like it happened to us. So I think that it's really good, and especially with Black women and Black women not taking care of themselves and their mental health. We even see, like, in the beginning when Molly was first supposed to be going to therapy and people were suggesting it to her, the resistance to acknowledge that that's something that you need. The same thing with Tiffany. She basically ran away, like, because she couldn't even acknowledge or have that conversation with her spouse. So I think it was good. I think it was really good that they tied it in. I think that they ended her storyline. If that's where it's gonna end, that's great with me. And we also got to talk about something that's really important. Someone said, what was the point of the Finding LaToya show? They have a show every season. I just watched the first season and they had something that was kind of like, Beyond Scared Straight. They had something like that in season 1. So every season they have a show. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that they kind of try to slip into the show. And I think with the Finding LaToya show and a lot of the things, which perfect timing right now with the Black Lives Matter movement, a lot of the things we've been seeing the last coming years with police just being super negligent when it comes to taking care of their cases that deal with Black people, missing Black people, killing Black people. I think that it was to kind of touch on that and to be current. And even though they're poking fun at the fact that there's a lot of stuff that happens and, you know, it's somewhat comedic, it's very also, it's almost like a satire. I don't want to say funny, but it is. And at the same time, it's really important that we acknowledge that it's silly that we live in a world where even the police department, they're so inept, highly funded, but inept to take care of things like doing their job. So I think that that was mainly the point, is that, you know, while we are talking about serious things, you know, it was to add some fun and some, you know, lightheartedness to some heavy topics. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like Insecure, or you like me, just give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, discussion points, and we can have a little tete-a-tete in the comments. And as always, subscribe to me. It doesn't pay my bills yet, but it could one day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.